Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds is the movie that I've just been to see at the local cinema that's near me a week early before it's actually shown here in the UK. And I was actually just privileged to actually get to see this movie because there was such big traffic jams on my way getting to the cinema. And yeah, getting to see this movie a week earlier than normal is fantastic because at least I can bring you guys a review, and so at least you guys know what to expect if you go see Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds. So essentially, Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds is around Dogtanian, and he is based on this 1980s animation that they actually made, but they've actually made a movie, and I believe they actually did kind of do a remake of the TV series, but in this kind of modern day version, and it's essentially around Dogtanian going to Paris to fulfill his dream of becoming a Muskehound. So the movie itself is directed by Tony Garcia, and I'm not really familiar with this director, and the voice actors in this are mainly known kind of for like Spanish animation movies, so I don't really know any of them. So what are my overall thoughts of Dogtanian? Well, actually not that bad. I actually enjoyed some aspects of this movie. The one biggest praise I can actually give this is the animation style. Whether it's the really vibrant city of Paris that they really paint out with like exuberant colours, or whether it's like kind of this like big drought raining scene on the ship battle towards the third act of the movie, this actually itself has some really quality elements, especially I would say the voice casting, but mainly for the villains, whether it's the Cardinal or whether it's My Lady. Those two voice actors were actually fantastic and definitely really helmed the believability in the characters. And with that animation that I mentioned, I've got to give it big praise because it was just very vibrant, bright, colourful, and really kept your interest throughout. And I think if you've ever watched the 80s animation, which I personally haven't, I think you will find some enjoyment in this because there is a couple of callbacks to that actual animation style in the movie, which a lot of people at that time who was actually grown up or maybe got their kids into it nowadays can actually just really respect that, and they really do, I feel like, probably bring some service to the 80s animation. Besides that, I would say with the negatives of the movie, yeah, overall it can maybe run a little bit too long for adults like myself. I was a little bit bored at little bits at times, or it had like 2 or 3 times where it looked as if this movie was about to end, but it didn't. Yeah, I think some of the voice casting as well, especially with our kind of protagonists, obviously Dogtanian, who we mainly follow, he isn't actually too bad, but kind of like the Three Muskehounds, or like this like little mouse that follows him around, Pom or Pim, just wasn't really believable, and I felt like the voice acting was kind of like miscast, because for that little mouse, he's got like a really deep voice, and I was like, yeah, it just didn't really work that well. And I think overall, if you were to take your kids to see this movie, I think they'll have a good time. I know there was a couple of kids in the showing with an adult that I was in, and I believe that they really enjoyed this movie, so it goes to show that there is some enjoyment in there, and I definitely think it's going to kill some time, whether you take your kids or a loved one to go see this, or even if you go yourself like me. I still found enjoyment in it, but overall I don't really recommend that I would go see this movie again personally for myself. But if you're going to take your kids, I definitely think they'll be entertained, and I definitely think they'll come out smiling at the outcome of the end of this movie. I think you're probably going to see the ending coming kind of from a mile off, but overall the movie itself did get a couple of laughs out of me, so in that sense it worked. Because of that, I would give the film a recommendation. Yeah, definitely go take your kids to see it, and I think they'll definitely enjoy this movie. And overall, I think parents will kind of take away from maybe some of the like the darker tones in this movie, where it kind of caters a little bit more for that, but it is mainly for kids. And with that in mind, my score for Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds is... So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, because I'd love to see you around here again next time. But until then, this has been the Z Review, and I'll be Zing you later.